Alright, hopefully that doesn't intensify now. All of my windows are shut. And also people saying look for smoke signs outside. It's chucking it down with rain at the moment, so it's definitely not on the outside. Oh, you're about to be pushed back. That's unfortunate. How are you doing? You are now active here. Go ahead and help out with that assault if you are so inclined. Meanwhile, here in Spain, they're about to take Madrid. Oh, no, they changed their mind. Why have you stopped? Ah, man, if you'd not stopped, we probably would be defending it. Except they keep changing their mind too. Oh. Urbanization has been encouraged. We'll check on that in a minute. Dutch elections. The Netherlands has traditionally been one of the most politically stable nations in Europe, and the Dutch people have for years been entrenched in their own institutional pillars, which have tended to undermine radical tendencies. Due to the economic chaos caused by the Netherlands' close ties to Germany and Middle Europa, the rise of the far left Red Front and the nationalist VNH, the country's political situation is now more tense than it has been in many years. Despite the degeneration of domestic politics and the rise of the powerful left-list electoral bloc, the ruling CNA coalition was able to hold on to the recent elections, albeit with a weakened majority. Unwilling to countenance a coalition with the Liberals or the right, the Conservative bloc has decided to govern alone. The Dutch too love their elections. And it looks like they did good. Alright, so we could either do the Landstormen or Military Production Act, which would give more military factories and lead to the State Industry Fund. Oh no, we're definitely going Military Production Act. Who needs population after all? And no, it wasn't 420 Blaze It smoke. I just came back from Amsterdam. I know very well what that smells like. This was just traditional tobacco crap. Alright, Military Production Act. Do I really need this right now, though? We're not at war, and I don't think we're going to go to war very soon. I think I might actually just go for the political stuff, trying to stabilize. Yeah, let's do this. Thankfully, the Swedish Conservatives have maintained our power and averted the disaster that would have been caused by the SAP. It's clear the people did not want Sweden to go the way of Britain and France and have renewed their faith in conservatism. Now we can continue to take advantage of the market and improve the quality of life of our citizens without resorting to any of the dangerous ideals of syndicalism. And now we need to make a choice between free trade economy and protectionist economy. And considering it was the Volkspartiet that won, I'm just going to de facto choose which way to go, and it's not going to be this way. I'm just curious what the other options would have been. Corporate Statar. What's that changing? Ah, it's this. Statar are contract workers on an annual basis, the lowest class of Swedish society. They are paid in kind with foodstuffs rather than money, and their continued existence as a relic of the pre-modern era has become something of a national embarrassment due to their poor conditions. So this changes it. Gets rid of the political power gain penalty and adds construction speed and factory output. But the stability in consumer goods factories stuff is still there. Though the consumer goods factory is a good thing. Do we make our own version? No. We just get a bucket load of stability. And construction speed. Oh, right. Market reforms. That's why. So this one actually counteracts the penalty from that. Okay, well, we're going to go with the free trade economy. It is time we wise up and realise the tariffs hurt far more than they help. Many nations would like to buy some of our vast resources we have, and it's the best that we stay out of this process with pointless protectionism. After all, it's just good business. We need to get some planning prep. Fly you there. Get you a bit closer. Formation of the Moscow Accord. For 2 decades, the Russian Empire is seen as a secondary power in the global stage. Dismantled after the Weltkrieg, it could no longer pose a threat to German political hegemony in Eastern Europe, nor to Japanese ambitions in the Pacific. Since then, however, Russia has rebounded and once again lays down its ambitions. Russian diplomats have officialized a military and economic alliance claiming to unite all nations in Eurasia not aligned with either Germany or the Internationale. Although everyone is well aware that this Moscow Accord is merely an extension of Russia's sphere of influence, Russia meanwhile officially pursues a policy of realpolitik, approaching with pragmatism and seeking to expand the Accord into an alliance to match the Internationale and the Reichspakt. Yes, this is the mod where you can recall volunteers. At the moment, I don't think we need to. You fend that up, do that. You need a objective in the first place. But I think, honestly, you're just going to be defending. This really does look like a CNT FII victory. Although the car lists could make a comeback. This is amazing considering the number of tanks Germany sent. Puerto Rico and the AUS have ended their hostilities. Puerto Rico is free. Well, Younger should get quite a lot of experience from this at least. Brazil declared war on the Brazilian Republican Army, which is not much of an army. We can't even see it. It's that much not of an army that we can't even see it. You went to Amsterdam, did you actually encounter an actual haze of weed? Oh yeah, like if you go anywhere near the coffee shops, then it absolutely stinks of the stuff. Did we get Bofors yet? No. That's okay, because we're not actually producing artillery yet. We wanted to get a political advisor, that was it. So we could get the mixed economy, which is consumer goods and production efficiency cap. Admin Genius, which is retention cap and output. Stability and research speed. Sigurd Eriksson might be good. Volunteer force divisions. The staunch idealist. Construction and political power. That's a lot of stability. But I feel like our stability is okay. And if we get the bank president, I do like you as well. We basically have to get Axel Rapp after we've got the general. We could go Olaf Thornell plus, there's going to be a lot of max planning. Plus Rapp, which would be plus 30% max planning. So bank president, old general, and mixed economy. Administrative genius is also nice though. I mean, the bank president plus mixed economy would mean a lot of construction. Let's do that. Huzzah! Let's get the construction going first, because we're still trying to get the infrastructure finished. Rondon's revolt. Candido Rondon, a renowned and respected marshal of Brazil, has returned from one of his by now usual expeditions deep into the jungles of northern Brazil. To his shock, the news of the integralists' efforts to restore the monarchy kept coming, and he openly voiced his discontent as a devout Republican. The worried government in Rio de Janeiro ordered his arrest, however the man's loyal military men refused the order, and he rose an open revolt in the north of the country. While the revolt has deep-rooted Republican origin, his support of the local strongman is also speculated to come from traditionally powerful politicians whom were losing power in the new integralist order of things. It seems Brazil is facing its second civil conflict in the century, and the nation holds its breath as the open war is now inevitable. How can an old man be so stubborn? That's what old geezers tend to be. You still don't seem to be particularly interested in taking this, which is particularly annoying. Considering how weak that guy is, and it would cut the Americans in half. With a recent electoral victory in the right wing and the vehemently anti-Austrian ANI party in the Italian Republic, there is now an open sedition in Veneto region by moderates opposed to the new government. Many regional rebels are already calling for the restoration of the serene Republic of Venice, the famous state that's been conquered in the Revolutionary Wars and ruled alternatively by France, Austria and Italy ever since. Though it is as yet unclear whether this part of the Austrian scheme to further influence the peninsula represents legitimate efforts by rebels to free themselves of the ANI rule, already fighting is breaking out across northern Italy, posing a substantial risk to the Milan government, surrounded as it is by enemies on all sides. I'm just going to tell you to attack. And there we go, the ANI has declared war on Venice. And Madrid is being attacked on all sides and is now in fact surrounded. So this guy is probably dead. And with it, the Kingdom of Spain. Uh, 37. Is it time for this yet? No. We could probably do with getting field hospitals. Let's go ahead and research that. Syndicalist in Baratia Commune is the leader of Baratia Commune's faction of moderates and is recently elected head of state. Fayuz Hook gave a fiery speech to the electrified crowd in Calcutta today, promising that this new syndicalist government would usher in an era of prosperity and industrial growth for the nation. And Russia declared war on Khiva, Bukhara and Turkestan and Alashorda. I could tell you to last stand. You're gonna die anyway. Let's make it hard. Peru, Bolivia declared war on Ecuador. That is a pretty big nation. And now they have a whole bunch of troops defending. Although it looks like they're just going to walk straight through. Brazil declared war on Rio Grande do Sul and Sao Paulo. And there we go. CNTFAI took out the Kingdom of Spain. And quite honestly, Carlist Spain's not going to be far behind that. So that's one loss, which is a bit of a blow. Meanwhile, the Bulgaria conflict seems to have become a massive stalemate, which is bad for Bulgaria. You can't really afford it. Mustafa Kemal seizes power, fed up with the constant bickering in the Ottoman Chamber of Deputies and hindered by a conservative and often royalist opposition. The Grand Vizier has used the recent domestic events to centralise power around the position of the Grand Vizier. The maintenance of public order decree issued at the times of great crisis has already led to the creation of various tribunals to sentence the enemies of the state and safeguard the Ottoman state. Doesn't look like we're going to be able to push through that. Colonial reform in Middle Africa. For years, the elaborate web of German colonies in Central Africa has proven to be an enigma to many outside observers. Public knowledge of the inner workings of this opaque heart of darkness has increased recently due to transparency and public relations drives by the reform group currently running the colony. It appears that the reform group has made the bold decision to overhaul Middle Africa's Byzantine system of rule dominated by the colonies, puppet kingdoms and former British territories. Already, plans have been set out establishing autonomous kingdoms for loyal African leaders under German stewardship, with future action planned for further decentralization. In only a few short years, Africa's fate has been changed forever, and the Dark Continent is now a tad brighter. And we got the free trade economy, so we can now do lowering taxes, which will drop our stability massively, but increase construction and resource gain efficiency. Let's do it. We are at a point now economically when we can lower taxes and reduce government spending. We do not need to and should not control the economy, as further intervention would just hinder economic growth. But we also have to reduce social welfare spending. We don't have enough money for now. Without a doubt, this will be unpopular amongst the people. But hopefully, this will pay back. Theodor von Hassel is now in charge of Middle Africa. Good. Though, saying good, I don't even know who Theodor von Hassel is. Can't be worse than Goering, though, surely. Oh, he's the guy I looked up before. And no, definitely no worse than Goering, seeing as he died in 35. The Russian Empire declared war on the Don-Kuban Union. Russia is at war with a lot of people. Crisis on the Don. The Don-Kuban Union, a state created by the Cossacks with German support after the Kolchak Putsch in 1925, was widely expected to be Russia's first target ever since the Russian state began to recover from its economic and political instability. Speaking of the Kolchak state, how is Transformer doing? They are still doing. They're still alive. Just about. Alright, I don't feel like you're making any use over on that side, so let's bring you over here. Have you try to push over this way? You're just throwing stuff at that. This has been consolidated. We could try to push into Greece again, now that Sofia is no longer being directly threatened. Let's give it a go. Mark Leek declared war on Tibet. War between the Hu and the Buddhists. The tensions in Yushu between the Marklik and Tibet has exploded once again in the northwest. This comes after months of instability as both belligerents that could only be resolved by a common external enemy. Incidents over the past half-decade, such as the Golok massacre, the Jinyan council feud, and the rumours of the next Dalai Lama living in Yushu have preceded the latest war. Right, Theodor is his son. We did look that up before. Norway supports Swedish unions. The syndicalist government of Norway has recently begun to support Swedish trade unions with funds, advisors, and most worryingly, weapons. Labour unrest has increased and the syndicalists seem to be gaining confidence, so we can issue a diplomatic protest, or we can just go and straight up declare war on them. Bearing in mind that they are in the Third Internationale, war between miners does not always mean calling in the overlords, however, as long as we don't join any factions. I think that's how it works. So, diplomatic protest. War. I think this one deserves to be a 2-minute vote, because this one could be pretty substantive with certain potential happenings. So, get your vote in. Vote, vote, vote. What the hell has happened to my battery? I charged this before the stream. It was at 65%. It's now down to 1%. This phone's battery is just completely imploding. I really need a new one. %13 has been used by the home and lock screen. Yeah, I don't believe that. I think it's just lying as to how much power there is. But these days I have to charge my phone 3 times a day. That's how bad it is. So get your votes in. And your phones. Get your phones in too. But mostly the votes. The votes are what I'm after. It's a fact. Backed by a state like Italy, Germany and Russia, the Scandinavian states did back part of the Spanish Civil War. The people going as volunteers did not do so as part of the nation's military like it was Germany, Italy or Russia. Huh. Didn't know that. I never did train my navy. Okay, I don't think that there's going to be any significant swing. The vote is pretty much in. And... huzzah! Poet! Hey Poet, how are you doing? Thanks very much for the Prime resub, very much appreciate that. Glad to see Mordred streaming at a time I can watch. Yeah, I mean now that I'm in Sweden the times tend to be rather earlier, like 10 o'clock PM is pretty much as late as I go except for the D&D game on Sundays. Hope you're doing well though Poet, good to see you. Alright, so the vote is in. 23% of you say that we should issue a diplomatic protest, whereas 77% of you say that we should go to war, and this is bearing in mind that only 1,000 channel points were spent, so this is as legitimate a vote as this channel ever gets. War! We're going to war! Sweden declared war on the Norwegian Socialist Republic. Okay, so... I'm gonna need my... aeroplanes to come back. And one of my plane wings actually seems to have died completely. That's a bit unfortunate. Shot down by somebody. No, don't do that. Navy. Navy, I think I'm just going to leave where they are. The most important thing I can do right now is give these guys commanders. So the Field Marshal is definitely going to be Thornell. And the General... probably Edholm, because he's very aggressive. Although Jung is also very strong. Edholm. And I think, honestly, I'm just going to tell you, just go for it. Early advantage is on our side. Save! Right, before we go any further, let me just double check that there were no other notifications I missed. There were! Mordred! Coming in with a 7-month primary sub. Thank you very much for the ongoing support there, Mordred RN. Onwards and upwards. And into the mountains of Norway. March the brave Swedes. Go. In fact, right now I'm going to say, let's be aggressive about this. There's nobody protecting their border, and I'd quite like to march into Oslo before they're able to react. Okay, they did call in all of their buddies. So I am now at war with the entirety of the Third Internationale. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. I need an admiral who can run submarines. Fabian Trim. Or Tam.